Pope Benedict XVI is set to retire later on Thursday, becoming the first pope to abdicate in 6 centuries. Saying he wants to exit public life and remain hidden to the world, he leaves his successor to be named next month to redeem the Church's reputation following a string of child abuse and corruption allegations. RT's Irina Galushka reports now.
It's the last day on the job for Pope Benedict XVI. Come Friday, he'll retire to seclusion and prayer. While in the Vatican, there's a feeling the real work is only just beginning. It's not just about selecting a new Bishop of Rome, some say, but the very future of the Catholic Church.
The Catholic Church is undergoing a very important crisis. It is a crisis at 2 levels. It is a government crisis and it is a crisis of the believers. In the last years, the world was focused on the government crisis in the Vatican, the Curia. Pope Benedict was a pope who is a great intellectual, a thinker, a theologian, but he has not a strong hand to lead the Curia. He has not the temperament of a governor. So there was a lack of leadership, which culminated in the great scandals of Vatileaks.
Far from the splendor of the Sistine Chapel, a closer look at the recent events in the Vatican highlight disillusionment and frustration with the Church.
I distanced myself from the Church when I became an adult. When I started talking about what had been taught, especially after all the scandals broke out in the Catholic Church, I realized that it doesn't represent my spirituality.
Benedict XVI may have been the first pope with a Twitter account, but many argue this measure alone was not strong enough in appealing to the masses. And there will be no more tweets once Pope Benedict XVI steps down.
No, this is the age of transparency, the age of for the Church is a big problem, this one, because they've been considering secrecy one of their great assets, But now you see that the WikiLeaks and the problem, and the media, they're really working on this, is going to change many things about the Church.
For people like Gabriele, this inability to face up to, and much less to punish, those who may be responsible for tainting the image of the Church is the deciding factor in abandoning Catholicism.
There's another scandal with a girl who disappeared in the Vatican 20 years ago, and they say they may have found her remains. The Italian police are leading the investigation, but instead of helping them, the Vatican is obstructing the investigation. It's likely they knew about this and stayed silent. And on top of all those cases of pedophilia, this is just disgusting.
The list of controversial events involving Catholic priests or Vatican officials reads like a tabloid. Reports of sex abuse, pedophilia accusations, alleged large-scale corruption and possible ties with the mafia. While the media, especially in Italy, has been having a field day with the scandals, the Vatican either stayed silent or rebuffed all accusations. But though things may be looking rather grim for the seat of St. Peter's at a first glance, there's still a chance the Catholic Church can make a comeback.
It was about a century of struggles, with the Church really splitting, with Luther and the other thing. But then they came out stronger, maybe stronger with the counter-reform. Because, there are 2 ways, the power, the administration, and the spiritual. So sometimes they mix, sometimes they don't. The strong part of the Church is the spiritual one.
But in spite of that spirituality, recent revelations have left many wondering if the Holy See has been blind. The world is rapidly changing, and there are claims that the Catholic Church has failed to keep up pace. Sure, it has seen a fair number of ups and downs as well as scandal in its 2,000-year-long history, but there is opinion that perhaps taking an unpleasant development, sweeping it under the carpet and sealing it with a papal ring for secrecy is a tradition better left in the past. In Rome, Irina Galushka, RT.
Well, David Lorenz, a director of a group called the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, doubts the new pope will bring much change to the Vatican.
I will say that clearly the sexual abuse crisis during his entire pontificate has probably weighed heavy on his mind. He said some nice words, but there hasn't been a lot of really true action. We've heard apologies, but what is the real action? We know of many bishops who have covered up these crimes, and not only they've covered it up, but they've tried to cover their tracks. He told he required that all abuse cases go through him. So he's well aware of all of these abuse cases, and yet he's done nothing to stop it, or nothing to stop the bishops from covering it up. With the next pope, I don't have a lot of hope. These cardinals were all appointed by Pope Benedict and his predecessor, John Paul II. And they're just the same. They're all cookie cutter guys, and they're going to do the same thing that those two have done. But what could be done is, one, they could be open and honest and reveal all the personnel files of all the credibly accused priests. They could publish on their website the names of all the credibly accused priests, not just those that are living, but also those that are dead.